Hello everyone! Today we continue working with the dress with dolman sleeves and side details. Last time I showed you how to make a pattern. Today I'll show you how to cut and tack it. I want you to have a close look at the way the pattern was laid on the fabric. I did it this way because I needed to leave some space for facings and so on. The dot was here, it was horizontal, so I decided to make it a bit bias. Such small bias darts look amazing. They look like they are hidden under the bust. In the dress I'm wearing now, the darts are horizontal. And in the new one, they will be a bit biased. Have a close look here once again. This is a very useful technique. When I pinned the pattern, I realized that the front side detail is a bit wider than the back one. I want to make them even. I'll show you how to do it. I'm cutting just 1 centimeter here. Notice that I marked the waistline with an orange marker pen. The technique I'm showing you now is very useful. You can use it when making side details, princess seams, and so on. You can see that the details are more even now. I didn't necessarily have to do it. I just wanted to make the details look more even. You can leave them the way they are. I did it to show you the technique. I think that it's obvious that the side details are more even now. The pattern is pinned to the fabric. Back, back side detail, front, front side detail. The center front detail is also pinned to the fabric. It's pinned on the fold. Before I start cutting, I want to remind you that we should add just 7mm seam allowance to all the round details. Necklines, armholes. I don't need to add anything to the bottom because I did it when making the pattern. The width of the seams is 1 centimeter. This pattern was made on the basis of my basic pattern, so I know for sure that the dress will fit me perfectly. I'll make a notch here. This is where the side detail will be attached. Have a look here. This is neither a lengthwise grain nor a bias one. It stretches. In this case, the sleeves should be edged with facing. If I overcast them, there will be folds on the bottom. I add 7mm seam allowance to the neckline. This piece of cotton is pretty strong, so I need to add about 5mm here. I need to do it just to be sure that I have enough space here. Do not forget to trace the darts. The front is ready. Now I can move on to cutting the back. I also need to add 5 mm to the second shoulder. I add 1.5 cm seam allowance to the center back. The seam allowance here is 7 mm. Do not forget to make a notch here. This is where the side detail will be attached. Do not forget to trace the darts. You should also make notches on the waistline. Next, I need to cut the side details. I add 1.5 cm seam allowance to the side seams. Do not forget how much you add. This is very important. I bought 1.5 meters of fabric. The only thing left to be cut is the center front detail. It's ready. I can move everything else aside. I'll need the fabric later. Now I can start taking. This is how the back and the side detail look like. Natalie will help me tack the dress. While she is taking the back, I'll detach the pattern from the front detail. This is the center front detail. This is the front side detail. Next, I need to trace the chest dart to the other detail to take it. I'm taking the chest darts and Natalie is taking the center back. I've already showed you what to do if one side of the dart is longer than the other. Take it the way it is and then just cut the extra piece. This is the only way to make it fit you perfectly. Have a look here. You can see that one dart leg is longer than the other. Take it the way it is. When the two darts are ready, I'll cut the extra pieces at once. These darts will make the dress fit me perfectly. Don't cut the extra details separately. Tack the two darts, match them, and cut the two details at once. I'm cutting the extra details, making the line slightly round. The darts are ready. Next, we need to tack the center front detail. We are taking the dress for a fitting. The center front details will later be doubled with interfacing. Next, we'll show you how to tack the side details. Match the waistlines and make sure that the angle of the side details fits right here. Don't pin and tack this detail to the end. Do it when the side seams are ready. Don't try to match these details. They shouldn't be even. If they are, it's just a coincidence. Make just a couple of stitches here. You need to do everything just like Natalie does. I remind you that there are 4 such angles in this dress. This is how the angle looks like now. I remind you that we are taking the side detail. We attach the side detail to the sleeve. Be very careful and attentive when working with the side details. This is the point where we should turn and start taking the side detail to the armhole. First I'll tack this side, and then I'll pin the side detail to the armhole. I remind you that there is a notch in the angle where the side detail should be inserted. Of course, these details will be doubled with interfacing with sewing. Next, I need to turn this detail and start taking this side. Now we are taking the side seam. Natalie is taking the side seams, and I'm taking the shoulder seam, which turns into the center sleeve seam. Next, Natalie will tack the second side seam, and I will tack the second shoulder seam. We are showing you how to tack a dress with dolman sleeves and side details. It's easy and hard at the same time. It's easy if you know how to do it. This is why we're showing it. The shoulder seams are ready. Next, I need to tack the underarm seam and the lower parts of the armholes. Natalie is tacking the bottom. The width of the overcast is about 3 or 4 centimeters. Natalie is doing it by side. Have a look here. The underarm seam is ready. There are angles both at the front and on the back. Let's move on to taking the lower parts of the armholes. Notice that the side and the underarm seams don't match. It's okay. The most important thing is that this seam should match. I'm taking the lower part of the armhole. Now you know how to tack this dress. Have a look at me. I'm wearing the tacked dress. Anyway, you can see how the dolman sleeves and the side details look like. Have a look at these darts. The bias darts look amazing. It's hardly noticeable from the front. It's kind of hidden under the bust. This technique is very useful. Have a close look at the side details. Of course, this dress will look much better when it's stitched, lined, and ironed. That's all for today. Be different and beautiful. Remember what I told you about thinking about your clothes and accessories in advance. I didn't do it when buying this necklace, so I had to make this dress. My name is Pakshta Irina. Guys, please subscribe to my channel, write comments, share videos, and press the like and the bell buttons. I really need your support. Thank you. Goodbye.